Reddit throwaway account for obvious reasons. Chapter 4: The Weight of Silence. After leaving the terrifying paranormal steel door deep within the abandoned underground railway tunnel, they shot into the air once again. Lady Seraphine held him close as they soared through the night, the cold wind rushing past while the city lights drifted silently beneath them. Neither of them spoke. Neither of them dared to look back. The memory of that impossible door lingered in his mind as though it had branded itself into his soul. Even now he could almost hear the scraping that had echoed from behind the rusted steel. He closed his eyes. It made no difference. The image of his own face staring back from the ancient steel remained etched into his mind with dreadful clarity. Without thinking, his gaze drifted toward Lady Seraphine. Her calm expression never wavered as she carried them through the darkness, her crimson eyes fixed upon the distant skyline. He found himself watching them, allowing the nightmare behind them to slowly loosen its grip. For a little while, the memory faded. Like the door itself, another truth refused to leave him. He loved Lady Seraphine. He no longer questioned it. Somewhere between their descent into the forgotten tunnels and their encounter with the impossible door, what had begun as admiration had become something he could neither deny nor escape. That realization should have filled him with happiness. Instead, it filled him with shame. Lady Seraphine had transformed him into what he was now, one of the undead. His existence, his endless hunger, the slow decay creeping through his flesh, and every silent night that followed all traced back to the moment she had refused to let him die. He owed his continued existence to her. How could he possibly allow himself to love someone who stood so far beyond him? She was ancient beyond imagination, powerful, beautiful, immortal. He was simply an undead creature struggling to remember what it had once meant to be human. He closed his eyes as the cold wind rushed past. The truth hurt more than the hunger ever had. Lady Seraphine had never lied to him about what he had become. She had never promised there was a cure waiting for him. Instead, she had taught him how to endure, how to resist the bloodlust, how to keep hold of his mind when instinct demanded he surrender to it. Those memories returned to him again and again. Every lesson, every quiet conversation, every patient correction, every night she had refused to abandon him when he believed he was beyond saving. He searched desperately for another explanation. Gratitude, respect, admiration, anything. Yet every answer led him back to the same impossible truth. He loved her. He buried the admission within himself. She could never know. She deserved someone who stood beside her as an equal, not a broken soul she had dragged back from death. The thought hollowed him. He hated himself for wishing things could have been different. He hated himself even more because, despite knowing how impossible those hopes were, his feelings only seemed to deepen with every passing night. Blood could be resisted. His own heart could not. When they finally reached the abandoned building they called home, Lady Seraphine landed as gracefully as ever before releasing him. "You've been quiet," she observed. "I'm only tired." For a moment she studied him, as though she wanted to ask another question. Instead, she simply nodded and stepped inside. He followed. Not because he had to, because after everything they had endured together, walking beside her had become the only thing that still felt certain in a world that no longer made sense.